So with that said, we'll just go ahead and get started. So today's session is really designed for partners that are either getting started with Microsoft Cloud for the first time or perhaps even looking to strengthen or build that practice. So I'll just take a look at a show of hands. How many people are transacting Microsoft Cloud today? Oh, wow, a bunch of them. Any not? Any newbies? Oh, okay, good. All right, how about modern work? Modern work? Azure? Biz apps? Okay, good. Good variety of partners here. Okay, so with this session, we have about, 45 minutes or so. So we're going to cram a lot in, but really it's a 30,000-foot view in terms of how Microsoft and Ingram Micro can help all of you build that Microsoft practice, strengthen it. And the key takeaways, I think, in my opinion, are understanding the value and the benefits of doing that, but more importantly, how to get access to the resources and the different people within the organizations, especially Ingram, to help you really realize those benefits. So I forgot that slide was in there, but that's what we all look like, just in case you were wondering. So let's get into the agenda. So when you think about Microsoft Cloud and you think about the Ingram Microchip partnership with Microsoft, there are really 6 key elements that we look at, right, when we take a partner down this journey. And the first one is business objectives. So for us, I know that most of you lead with a customer first message, and that's really what we try to do with our partners. We need to understand what your business strategy is, those objectives within that strategy, and how do we align and make sure you're making the right choices in terms of vendors and technology, et cetera, to really build out and drive services. The second thing we look at, or all of you should look at too, is how are you transacting with Microsoft? So there are really 2 models, and we'll spend some time talking about those today in terms of CSP and the Cloud Solution Provider Program. Then I think this is probably one of the most important elements, which is MCPP, or the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program. You heard about that today from Nicole. We'll spend some time on that today, but it's essential for partners to understand that program and how to benefit from it, how to leverage it. And then do more with less. This is a strategy that you've probably heard of many times, but really Microsoft got behind and Ingram got behind last year, and it's all about how do you maximize that partnership with Ingram and Microsoft and really get the full benefits out of it. And then enablement and execution. So once you make that decision and you decide to make that investment with time, people, and money, then how does Ingram get your organization ready, enabled, and ultimately how do you execute? So, like I said, we'll start with that first one there. We have to understand what your business strategy is and what are those core business objectives that you're looking at, because ultimately this has to play back to that, right? And so we take a first look at operational efficiency. So does Microsoft and a Microsoft-centric strategy really drive operational efficiency? The answer is absolutely yes, and it's proven with a lot of partners. You heard Nicole mentioned Conres and Sentinel, and they've actually done that and been very successful. So if you think about it, if you have less partners to train, support, market, sell, that's going to really drive a lot of efficiencies for your organization. Excuse me. Staffing and skilling. So we heard a little bit about that as well. I know that that's a challenge for a lot of our partners, but again, with Microsoft, they make it very easy for you to really train on a single platform and get certifications and training. Customer acquisition. So again, you have to have customers to be successful and drive your business. So with that platform, again, it makes it very easy to create repeatable solutions and go to market. Excuse me. And then, of course, if you earn the customers, you have to be able to retain them. So with Microsoft and using that platform, makes it very easy, again, to scale and evolve with your customers, especially as you look at going across multiple clouds. If you're starting with modern work, how do you start building a practice in Azure to really drive more services? And then finally, P&L. And I think this one is very important because not only building those solutions around Microsoft, but how do you build your brand and your value and really differentiate yourself in the marketplace? So with Microsoft, you've heard of the Cloud Solution Provider Program. I think all of you are transacting, but there's really two models that Microsoft offers for its channel partners. There's a direct model and an indirect model. So let's take a look first at the direct model. So with the direct partner, to go direct with Microsoft, there are certain thresholds in revenue. You have to meet $300,000 in revenue to be in that program, but you also have to own all the billing and all the back office, the accounting functions, the finance functions. So it's a pretty big burden for a lot of partners, but it also requires you to have to purchase a support agreement as well, which can run up to $20,000. And the big thing here is Microsoft will expect you to be pretty self-sufficient. So with that said, you're really not going to have access to a lot of the people and a lot of the resources that you would if you go through an indirect provider. So let's take a look at that model. So an indirect reseller is what our partners are. So they're transacting through Ingram Micro. We sit in between Microsoft and you as the partner, and we take on that burden of all the billing, all the support. The support contract comes free, no cost to you with the partnership. Also, this is the fastest time to market because you're having to spend less investment and put less money into your back office to meet those criteria with Microsoft in terms of the billing. And that's a big thing because then you can really allocate those resources and funds toward the front-end engagements with your customers. And then also I would say the last thing with the indirect partner program or the model is that Ingram Micro has a ton of institutional knowledge around Microsoft. So navigating Microsoft can be complex sometimes, understanding the programs, how to take advantage of them, the incentives that are available to you as a partner. And so when you look at Ingram Micro, we have teams of people that are dedicated to doing that, help you navigate, create the go-to-market planning, even shoulder-to-shoulder selling. So if you look at some of the programs we've run, we have things like Flight Academy, which are for certifications, so you can get access to training. Also, a lot of different workshops that can do enablement for you and your people, but more importantly, go-to-market workshops as well. So if we sum that up, the indirect model certainly has advantages, especially for smaller business operators, because and these are Microsoft facts, if you look, we can get you to break even on that investment in 5 versus 22 months if a partner goes direct. Go to market quicker, but again, less investment. So that is really what we exist for that reason, right? There to help Microsoft's partners really tackle that SMB market and make sure that you guys are successful. And so if we kind of recap where we are in that process I showed you, we talked about business alignment, business strategy. How do we align to your current business strategy? Where do you want to be 12 months from now, 24 months from now? And make sure that kind of strategy, a Microsoft-centric strategy, makes sense. But also then, again, how are you going to transact with Microsoft? So the next section we'll get into, Tafaris is going to come up and talk about the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program. Again, I think this is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a partner, is go into Partner Center, see where you are, see what your strategy is. How do you get there in terms of designations in that program? So with that, I'll turn it over to Tafaris. There you go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tafara Pulse. I'm the lead for the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program, and I hadn't turned around, so a lot of people here. Raise of hands, how many of you have gone into Partner Center to see what your scores are for your partner capability score? Great. How many of you have had a conversation with your Ingram Micro rep about your partner capability score? Okay, at least a few of you. Good. I'd like to see a few more hands. So hopefully by the end of this, that'll be your call to action. Talk to your Ingram Micro rep about your partner capability score. So back in October, we launched Microsoft Cloud Partner Program because largely MPN had been in market for about 20 years. And we were getting feedback from customers that there was confusion around what our designations meant and what the Microsoft Partner Network actually was and what the value of it was, and what it said about our partners. And so customers were asking us to ensure that when we gave a designation to our partners, that it was an indication of some capability that that partner had. And so They were demanding more, and the evolution that we introduced was Microsoft Cloud Partner Program, and that is the effort that we're trying to make, is ensure that we are raising the bar, that we are telling customers what our partners are capable of, and we try to do that through the Partner Capability Score. So again, if you haven't seen it, please go into Partner Center and take a look at that. We also wanted to reduce that customer confusion and provide clarity. So we had 18 competencies in market under MPN. We now have the 6 solution partner designations. Those are badges and designations that are really centered around our 6 solution areas. They're measured in the same way, and so if you are, if you offer services on Azure or modern work or biz apps or security, those are measured using the same association types, using our certifications from Microsoft Learn. You don't have to meet one standard for one solution area and a different standard for another. And then we still wanted to give partners an opportunity to stand apart from each other. So that's why we are maintaining the badges for solutions partner designations. And if you do earn specializations that go deeper into our workloads, you get additional badging there as well. So today, the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program, and you'll hear us talk a lot about this in sort of this analogy about a neighborhood. That neighborhood today has 2 houses in it. One is for services partners, and one is for ISV partners. We intend to build out this neighborhood of the MCPP neighborhood to have houses in it like device partner, Internet of Things, and a number of other houses that cover all of the different partner types that we have. So today, we have services, we have solutions partner designations, we have specializations, we have the Azure Expert MSP program. This is really kind of what our services partner journey looks like. The ISV house is currently under construction with a couple more things coming in the near future that you'll be hearing about from our team shortly. But for those of you who offer services with Microsoft, this is really what your journey looks like. So if you don't have a solutions partner designation today, and you had competencies in MPN, you can still renew your legacy benefits. There is a rumor going around that you're going to lose those benefits. That is absolutely not true. There is no end date for the legacy benefits. So the language that we used is that at your next anniversary date, you will be able to renew those legacy benefits. That doesn't mean that's the last anniversary date at which you can renew those benefits. So I just wanted to point that out here because that is going around. If you didn't have a legacy competency and you don't have a solutions partner designation, there still may be a place for you in this services house. With this Microsoft Action Pack, that's another way to get a set of benefits that you can take advantage of in building POCs, provisioning licenses and other benefits to folks within your company. And then again, we've got specializations and expert MSP sitting out there. So I just wanted to give a really high-level overview today of how the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program works. Our 2, execute and sell and differentiate and sell is really where you start to get into the external and customer-facing badging. It's also where you start to get into more opportunities to work more closely with Microsoft and our sellers. And so the call to action for you today is if you haven't gone in to Partner Center, or if you don't have the right permissions, either go in yourself or ask your Partner Center admin, membership admin to go into Partner Center and take a look at your scores and see those across all 6 solution areas so you can get a sense of your status for the solution partner designations. We also have 2 resources that I encourage you to take a look at. One is our training and readiness gallery. That link will be in this deck. Is this deck going out to folks? Yeah, okay. So all of those links are in here. The training and readiness gallery, please take a look at that. There are walking decks, there's a benefits guide, there is an association playbook that will help walk you through how to get the different associations like CPOR, DPOR, PAL, and CSP in place. So you're getting credit for the work that you're doing with your customers. And then finally, work with your Ingram rep. Make sure that you're having conversations with them. We are working very closely with Ingram to ensure that they have some visibility into what your scores are, and they can work closely with you to move you down the path, increase that score, and move you closer to solutions partner designations. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Matt Goddard. I'm Director of Product Marketing for the Modern Work business, focused on our CSP segment. So it's great to see so many of you guys in the room today. What I wanted to talk a little bit about today was this concept of doing more with less. It's something that we kicked off last year as a way to, I would say, reframe the conversation as to how do we think Microsoft can best serve our customers. And ultimately change the story so that we can align and really have a relevant conversation with customers and what they care most about, especially in today's kind of tough economic times. So if we think about some of just the economic climate and what customers are thinking about today, you got a couple things that has happened over the last couple of years, right? And this is not news to any of us, right? But you have employees who want to work from multiple locations, right? There's lots of different devices they want to work from. There's no shortage of phishing and ransomware attacks. And so there's a lot of challenges that customers, specifically in the SMB segment, are facing today. And so if we think about what every customer is asking for, they ultimately need to figure out how do they do more. But most importantly, how do they do more with less? Because they don't have that flexibility to invest in the ways that they have in the past, right? I think everybody is tightening their belts a little bit and trying to think through kind of how they actually go to market and what can they do and how can they ultimately be successful. And so when you think about what does it mean to do more with less, Satya actually had a pretty good kind of explanation. It's not about working harder or longer, right? It's ultimately about how do companies leverage technology to build resilience and more importantly, differentiate themselves, right? And so it's all around how do we think about technology as a key lever to driving growth moving forward. And I think the beautiful thing here is that, I might be biased, but I think there's no better solution than what Microsoft has to offer as you think about the broad set of services that we can provide to help our customers. And so when you think about providing something that enables your customers to do more at a more cost-effective price, Microsoft 365 is a great way to do that, as well as Azure, as well as Biz Apps. There's a story to be told around how we can do more with less across all solution areas. Since you got me, I have a little bit of a modern work pivot here. So when we think about how do we help our customers do more with less, right? And so think of this really as kind of your potential go-forward marketing strategy, right? How can you actually start to think about customer acquisition and driving some demand? But this is really how you kind of anchor the conversation, right? How do we think about saving costs? How do we help our customers increase security confidence? And then, of course, the most important is how do we improve productivity? Because we need to get more out of every individual as it relates. The one other thing that I'll talk about before I kind of walk you through the couple opportunities as how this relates to your business is ultimately what SMBs want. So we actually did a survey this past year to understand some of the buying behaviors of small and medium businesses. And the biggest thing that we heard was about 64% of SMB buyers indicated that they prefer to purchase software solutions as a package, a suite of solutions. They want a one-stop shop. It doesn't mean that that's what they're doing today, right? This is kind of what they desire to do. But what we've seen in the data is a lot of them are kind of mixing and matching a lot of different point solutions, best-of-breed solutions, which is great. And I think it worked up until this point. But I think this is where the unique opportunity comes in because the very first thing that we can all do in this room is help our customers understand and figure out what are the right solutions to provide their needs going forward, okay? A couple stats here. 1 in 4 SMBs experienced cyber attacks in the last year. 73% of workers want to be flexible. And so as you think about enabling customers to be flexible and to be secure, it requires a lot of different tech to come together. But beautifully, Microsoft 365 is a great way, right, to provide one single solution to customers. And being able to offer this guidance and advisory to help them figure out what are the right solutions to meet their needs is going to be critical. And so I think I have a couple slides here just to kind of introduce some of the offerings here of how you can think about this. But I love this tagline, from best in class to best in suite. And so the one thing that we've done over the last year is we've actually created a little bit of a more broad portfolio of offerings to cater to the different needs of customers, specifically in the SMB segment. So, yes, we have standalones. We think these are actually really great opportunities for you to acquire new customers. They're great on-ramps, right? Get customers started on Teams, let them, work through that. Get them started on Microsoft Defender for Business if security is the thing that's most important. And then, of course, we can gradually move customers up into the suites so that they can maximize cost savings and get the full range of services that can be provided. The second opportunity, when you think about this concept of doing more with less, is really around offering value-added managed services. And so I think we all kind of know what the opportunity is, but I think this next slide actually shows a little bit about how this kind of comes together. So when we think about do more with less, this is kind of how it plays out. So if you think about all of your customers' needs and putting together all of those point solutions, again, kind of thinking about productivity and security, it could net out to be greater than $45 a user a month in licensing fees alone. And so the idea here is, by helping your customers realize these cost savings by moving to a solution like Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you're able to reduce that cost of around $45 down to $22. So that's like the with less piece of the equation. But what's awesome here is the do more, right? So again, it's not, customers don't want to do the same, right, with less. They want to do more. And so this is where you can actually leverage the cost savings to figure out how you can apply managed services on top of it. So at the end of the day, your customers are still getting more from what they were previously, but they're able to do it still in a much more cost-effective way. And managed services are way higher margin, right, than licensing fees. And so this is a great way just to leverage this kind of campaign and this motion of around addressing their core need of being able to want to be able to do more with less at the end of the day. I'm going to skip this slide just because it doesn't add too much value. But I think that was it. All right, so that was a really quick pitch of kind of this concept of do more with less. So we have lots of materials and resources that you can look at as far as pitch decks and value prop and things of that nature that would be helpful for you all just to kind of digest this. My last parting thought is this is kind of the pitch to customers, right, of how you can help them do more with less. There's also a ton of ways in which we're helping partners in this room do more with less as well. And so there's a number of different tools that we're investing in. By a show of hands, how many of you are familiar with like Microsoft 365 Lighthouse? Right? This is one great investment that we're making to really help on the managed services front, creating that single pane of glass standardization. We're also looking to do the same thing on the sales front. So how can we actually provide more data and insights so that you can identify which customers to be engaging with at the right time so that you can have your folks focusing on the right customer at the right time. So lots of other things to talk about, but just want to kind of seed some of those things out there, and I'm happy to talk more after the fact.
Thank you. Oh, was there a question?
I was just curious, your SMB demographic size, what's that seat count?
How do we define SMB?
Yeah.
It fluctuates. I would say 300 seats and below is kind of the sweet spot, but we also look at like 2,500 seats and less is kind of the broader definition.
Were there any additional questions? All right, I'm Abby Hansen. I am the sales practice lead for Modern Workplace in the United States, and I have been in the Microsoft industry for 17 plus years. I love it. I drink the Kool-Aid every single day, and I think it's really important to tell my story and how I got to Ingram. I've worked for Ingram or Microsoft in various fashions. I've worked for partner, and so I know and understand how quickly we need to move and be in the market in order to make impact with our customers. So when I came to Ingram and now in the role that I'm at, I put that into mind into every single program and strategy that we put into place, not only with our sellers who assist you as partners, but also with you as partners. And so as we look at the service offerings we have here at Ingram Micro, it's really important to know and understand how in depth we'll get with you to grow your practice. So I want to ask you a question, and this room is really quiet, and I can't handle quiet. So I want to know who wants to grow their business? That's not loud enough. Who really wants to grow their business? Yeah? On average, last year alone, our Modern Workplace partners grew over 120%. Who wants to beat that? That's not loud enough. Come on, you guys. Our top Modern Workplace partners grew over 300%. Who wants to get to that level? All right. How many of you at Ingram Micro or our partners in this room work actively with your account managers? Okay. How many of you don't know who your account manager is? We need to handle that after this meeting, okay? Because our account managers are moving mountains with you, and it's important to know and understand our org structure. So we have an SST organization that are there to help you drive net new business, okay? We have security and collaboration for Microsoft. And if you haven't met or integrated with those team members, we need to make that as an action item when we leave this room. Together, we are moving humongous mountains. One of the really great things about that team is that we are a Microsoft Teams organization. If you see us red, yellow, green, do not disturb, you better be pinging us because we are on average 10 to 12 customer partner calls per week. We are the experts. We are here to help you move that needle and actually understand your customer with you down to persona, right? We don't want to standardize our customers any longer. We want to give them what they need to be successful, okay? So when we think about that, that goes into do more with less. How do we help reduce spend? How do we help mitigate risk? And how do we help with complexity? And our sales team is the best in the business when it comes to that, okay? So before I get into the resources, who wants to grow? Okay, we're a little bit more lively now. I can continue. Okay, so we have multiple different programs that are built for your success here at Ingram Micro. How many collaboration partners do we have in the room? Oh my goodness, I need to walk away. How many do we have that are security focused? Okay, so we are here to help you build those practices. If you don't know where to start, that is okay. We are here as your backbone and have experts in those areas. We are the only CRN 5-star rated partner out there in distribution when it comes to security with our security expert program. This is a extremely useful program to help you build your security practice, including getting leads during the process, building a business plan, and truly understanding it from that perspective. And so we want to engage with you in that manner. We also have a Microsoft Teams practice. This practice will be kicking off in July, and it is meant to focus on your practice development team. It will focus on sales. How many of you or your sellers don't know how to talk about Teams? Maybe. Teams is super sexy, by the way, and so if you can go in and actually lead an awesome Teams demo, it'll eventually lead to security, and so you're able to build that total vision for your customer. We'll focus on technical. Get your customers or get yourself MS 700 certified. You'll get Microsoft Teams meeting room certified. It's important to tell the whole story, especially when it comes to telephony. And we'll even get you from a marketing aspect. How do you think different about that, okay? So that's another program that we offer. The next one, we talked a little bit, Jeff did, about our Fuel program. Fuel is free. Everything we offer is free. Well, all but like 1%, but we can talk about that at a different time. But what's really cool about that is with MCPP, it is super critical that we're following that certification path, right? We're knowing and understanding where we need to go. We offer those certification classes for your engineers and your sales team. My recommendation is get every single seller in your organization MS 900 certified. It will up their game. They will be able to go to the table, have a strong strategic conversation with your customers, and upsell will occur, okay? So important there. Then we look at those certifications in MCPP, and how do we get our engineers certified, right? Something to think about, attrition is real. Make sure you have one more certification with one more person in case that person leaves your organization because you don't want to fall off, okay? Here at Ingram, we invest in you for your success, so it's important to know that. Plus, with Fuel, there's marketing resources, sales support, both sales and technical. Up at the top, Block 64 program is a program that we work with Microsoft strategically on. This is for unmanaged accounts within Microsoft. How many of you have done a Block 64 engagement? Okay, we're gonna change that. Block 64 is so valuable because it helps to drive digital transformation within your customers, and it drives all 4 clouds. It'll drive BizApps, Modern Work, and Azure, and Surface, okay? And so we actually go in, it'll talk about security risks, reducing spend, mitigation of risk, and when you're done with that assessment, by the way, it is not an audit, okay? Everybody gets scared of the word audit, right? I worked at Microsoft on the SAM team, and I tell you, that policing, that's no joke, right? We have to overcome those fears with our customer. But this is really to drive our customers forward with their visions and goals for their company. And when you're done, you're gonna have like a 3-year plan to sit with your customer and come up with solutions to advance them forward, which when we know we put the right solution with our customer, we're driving additional ROI for our customer. We're invoking creativity. We're helping with their attrition. And this is a big deal because on average, it's $150,000 to keep an employee. They leave, SMB customers, it hurts, right? And so we wanna make sure that the start of this is setting them up for success, okay? How many of you compete against enterprise agreements? Sorry, Microsoft. Okay, yeah, it's a big deal, right? And it gets kind of scary, we get sticky, it comes down to price a lot of the times. And so we actually have a very unique EA to CSP compete program here at Ingram. And what we do is, we go in with a third-party partner, we deploy a tool, we actually look at their whole environment from that perspective. And again, it talks about security risks, last password reset, last user login. We look at reduction of spend, mitigation of risk, and complexity. And what's really cool about this is at the end of the day, they're gonna get a readout of where they should be from that perspective. This usually starts at about 500 users, just so you guys are aware. We wanted to use Block 64 for the rest. And it's good up to about 10,000 users. On average through this, we are seeing customers' reduction of spend about 37%. Steve, you've used this, right? It works, doesn't it? We've won deals with it. Yeah, it's awesome. And I was sitting at the table, and this is a true story, with a CFO and a CTO, healthcare company, about 2,600 users. And CFO was here, CTO was here, I'm on Teams. So glad I was not in the room where this was happening. And we brought up the results. Microsoft 365 alone, we showed them the number. We saved that customer $732,000 a year because the person who put the implementation of the license in place standardized the customer on ME5. Custodial staff does not need ME5. They need frontline worker, right? Next one was non-Microsoft products that could be replaced by Microsoft. $1.2 million. $3.6 million of savings over 3 years. It is our job as everyone in this room to get it right for our customers so we can help advance them. And that is what this solution does. End of the story. CFO looks at CTO and goes, you better get your bleep together, right? Because the CTO was in charge. And so we need to make sure we're doing it right to make our stakeholders look good. So we have that to offer as well. Huge impact, right? The last one. I love the last one, and I leave it for last. Our sales team pod support at Ingram Micro is top notch. Everyone is certified. Our pre-sales technical engineers have on average 4 certifications just in the US alone. And when we look at Microsoft Modern Work, we have pre-sales technical engineers for both security and collaboration. What does that mean for you? That means that our engineers can help you build a solution from start to finish. Not everyone can speak Microsoft. Depend on us. We are the business behind your brand. We are here to advance that forward. Get them on phone calls with you to help with those opportunities. Plus our sales executives. We have field reps that will travel to customers. I do it all the time as the practice leader. It's probably the best part of my job, to be quite honest. But we will help you with licensing configuration, helping your customers understand it, plus your sales team, which is really important, right? You have a new sales rep, let's get them on board with our process. Plus, we'll train your team. What better way? You don't have to take time away from that. We'll meet with your team bi-weekly to get those trainings done and to help you from that perspective. So when you partner with Ingram, We really focus on business, sales, and marketing. We'll drive deep into that with you, build out a business plan. We're gonna ask you tough questions. We're not just partnering with you because we want your money. We want to actually push things forward with you. We're gonna ask you, what are your risks? What are your gaps? How can we help you? How do we be better together because we truly care about you, because you're a part of our family, and family watches out for each other. Cloud services and tools. Who's excited about Xvantage? Oh, yeah? That's awesome, right? To be able to integrate cloud in there and to build one total platform with hardware, software, licensing in one location, that is awesome. Your upsell advantage just went sky high today, which is great. Build competencies. Again, we are building more competencies into that. Around MCPP, we're releasing all of those. We have experts at Ingram around MCPP as well to get on a call with you, look through all those databases with you. Drive more revenue, and our 24/7 US-based support up until 6 o'clock at night, and then it goes out to Australia. So, any questions for me? Are you guys excited? Yeah, I'm excited. So, all right, thanks so much.
No, go ahead.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming. If there's no questions, we'll let you go to the next. Thank you.